How have you been? Stephen, Yaki Way Appraisals. I am so happy to look at you.
Oh, are we starting?
Yeah, well,
I'm trying to adjust the camera because it's all at a weird angle. That's cool. How's it going?
yeah, it's going good. Hey, I am so happy to finally interview you for our agent channel because agents really need to look at the importance of appraisers right now when a lot of people are not, I feel.
I am an appraiser. I've been a certified appraiser in 6 different states since 2004, and I cover a lot of different wide areas. I've known you for years, and
No,
what
give
you
the
just
background because you're amazing.
oh,
And we'll
that's
put the link of where to get you at the end because you are one of the most realistic appraisers out there really talking truth. And there's a need for
thank
that
you.
right now.
Yeah, and I have always said this. I do a lot of lunch and learns. I just won the board positions at the Prescott Valley Board of Real Estate, so I will be the chairperson, the board sitting member for the appraisers as the board director. So the thing that I've noticed,
Congratulations.
thank you. The thing that, oh yeah, that's not announced yet, but who cares? The thing that's really wild about what's going on today is there's always a weird, you and I have talked about this, an animosity between appraisers and agents and stuff like that. Well, today it is palpable. The feeling is just insane what's going on. And what you just said validates that because when Fannie Mae starts really digging and they're trying to figure something out, their target is the appraiser. So I literally got into a debate with someone online yesterday about this, an agent who said how much they hate appraisers and they won't even answer the phone. And I'm like, well, I don't understand how you're getting a deal done because we have to call, we have to schedule. And they always think that we have we really like to ruin deals. And I'm going to tell you, I'm really close friends with another appraiser who's in the States who just sent an appraiser to the board. And him and I were chatting about what it's like to do that. And that's what Fannie Mae is actually doing when they're asking you to do that. If there's egregious errors and things like that, they're taking that information and they're sending them to the board. There are record breaking numbers today of people being sent to the board for review for many different things. The one I talked about a couple of weeks ago that got a lot of traction was keywords that are being used as bias, because bias is a very big thing that's going on in appraisal. But let's just get down to this point real quick, is the animosity between everybody is being fueled by misunderstandings and not understanding how appraisers do things. You're one of the few that is an appraiser and an agent, so you get it. And you know how to comp out real properties and understand what's going on. 99% of agents don't. And that isn't a negative, mean thing I'm saying. It's just, why would you? It takes us 2 years of in-field training, a state board exam that takes 8 hours and is commonly compared to the state bar exam that attorneys take. We have to have our degree. We have to literally have a degree in finance, business, or real estate to get this. So when it comes down to it, there's just a miscommunication and misunderstanding of what each other's jobs are. We're analytical to a fault. As a matter of fact, if you don't support your reports with in-depth insanity, just levels and levels of analysis, either QC at the lender, the underwriting person at the lender, or Fannie Mae will literally reject our files and all this other stuff. It's a hostile situation right now. On top of the fact that, I'm just going to be honest right now, I think that 90% of appraisal work is going to be done by AI in the next 5 years. And for any agent out there that thinks that's a good thing, you are so incredibly wrong, because the AI will not give you the benefit of the doubt. AI does not take into consideration what you tell us is happening in the market. AI is going to do the math like how we do it, and they're going to throw it down and they're going to say, here's your value based on this. Very similar to a Zestimate. And you know that a Zestimate is almost unsupportable, and whether you like it or not, that's the direction that it's going. So my plea right now in this situation is obviously give the appraiser the benefit of the doubt. Don't come into it hostile. Don't start vetting them about what they know about this area and this area, because we already do know. That's how we got the order. We had to prove to either a lender, an appraisal management company, or a panel officer that we do know the area, and we have to prove it multiple ways. But today it's insane. And what's going on is fear. It's just that everyone is afraid of a market collapse. Did you see the numbers about Arizona's status yesterday? It was written by Forbes.
No, what did it say? I've been
The
just glued to so many articles. Just let me
well,
know.
this one is awesome, and it's a good thing for us.
Okay.
Arizona is the hottest market, was in the country for the longest time over the past 3 years, right? There are other incredibly hot markets that I worked in. California, the northern area was great. Florida, Texas was booming. Those areas in the past 12 months have declined 16 to 22% of their values. Do you know what Arizona's declining value rate was?
No.
3%.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense of what I've been analyzing. Yeah.
Yep, about 3% is what they said in Arizona. And I assume that 90% of that is Maricopa County. So they're taking all of that into consideration, but lenders don't care. They see red flags and they really get nervous. So for example, I have one that I'm typing up right now that is at the tippy top of the market. Math tells you that that value, I'm just going to throw it out there, should be $650,000. That's not right. It's too low. And I found comps to support 725. That's the thing that AI and Zillow won't get. It just doesn't take into consideration the fact that this area is cool because it's closer to fun commercial, or this area is better because it's a little more rural. This is why communication between agents and appraisers so desperately needs to change completely. And we all need to be on the same page, because you guys tell us information that we have to digest and put into the report. If we don't, then we're doing a massive disservice, and technically we're omitting details that are valuable to the appraisal. So we have to do it. So we need to get on the same page and end any bit of nonsense. Now, I'm not just aiming that at agents, because you know this, a lot of the things I complain about are appraisers that are just awful. They don't want to talk. They don't want to take the extra 2 minutes to call somebody and figure something out, or really dig about why this one outlier was an outlier. Maybe it really wasn't. Maybe there was something else to it. It's not laziness, but what it is it's just introvert kind of style stuff. By definition, except for me and a few other appraisers, I'm an extrovert. I love to chat. I'm out there. My whole thing is to talk to people. Like you guys, agents have to engage with people to get deals done, to make it all work. 90% of appraisers don't want to do that, and that needs to end. So most of the issues are on the appraiser sides. We need to stop tearing each other down, and we need to start working together with you guys and see that we're literally in the same industry and we're both clinging on to that deal. Now, while we get paid our amount, whether it closes or not, it's a small amount. Our paychecks today are significantly lower than they have in a few years. That's what supply and demand does, right? But the animosity between everybody is just fueling this crazy situation. And all of the hate that I read about online is just wild, because I don't understand why. If a sale is cut by a low appraisal, that just means you didn't understand how to comp it out as what an appraiser can do. The biggest thing I always hear about is, well, I have a buyer that's willing to pay it. Isn't that the market? Yes, it is, until you can't prove that anybody else has wanted that. Because what a point of an appraisal is, it's satisfaction to the lender to know that if this sale goes into foreclosure, what are we going to get by selling it back? It's protection for the lender. So for anyone that hates the appraiser, shame on you, because you just don't understand how fragile the entire market could be if there weren't appraisers out there. And I'm not just defending that because I am one. It's because I have seen bad appraisals, false appraisals, fraudulent valuations that are there to either falsely inflate or deflate a value. And if the truth came out, it would decimate that market area. Chicago is #1 in the country for false valuations. Half of the appraisals done in multifamilies are lies. They are estimates, they exaggerate, or they don't do real measurements. It's a weird thing that's going on up there, and they have to get that under control. We just have to work together and figure out what the actual truth is, and understand that there's no way that an appraiser is intentionally going out there to kill a deal, for multiple reasons. I'll tell you the #1 reason is, I don't want to be sent to the board. And if an agent is mad and because I killed the deal and they file a complaint, I just fed myself right to the wolves. You know what I mean? Like, why would anyone want to do that? There is no motivation for appraisers to kill a deal. As a matter of fact, it doubles our amount of work. Now, I'm not saying I make every deal work, but I'm also pretty damn good at figuring out what is happening and why that demand was there at the time and supporting that. But if I cut a deal, it's literally because you just overpriced. And this person, if they bought it and foreclosed on it in a month, the bank would lose X amount of dollars. You have to look at it different ways. And I look at it as, I'm trying to protect myself. Why would I intentionally cut a deal that puts me in the crosshairs? So there's no way that people like cutting sales. And I know that every agent says that. And it's like, no, we don't. It doubles our work and it doubles our risk. So before you jump to conclusions and getting mad at us for lowering a value or bringing it in under contract, just remember there's a freaking reason why. And it's not because we want to be the bad guys. It's because it has to be, because the lender will not take a fake appraisal. They will not take an inflated report anymore these days. They're all too scared.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, it's so true. I think one of the first things that I was taught as an appraiser, in the late 80s, is that just keep in the back of your mind, you're analyzing everything to come up with an unbiased value of opinion based on data. Because if that one buyer just defaults, can the bank get another buyer like that?
right.
Will it sell for that again? Will it sell the next day? Will it sell to mitigate the loss of the lender? But banks and lenders want deals.
Yeah, see, exactly. Everybody does. We want the deals to go through too. Like I told you before, to minimize risk. And honestly, it's easier. If we have comps that support it and we can type it up, it takes us significantly less time. But I mean, that's my whole point, is everyone likes to say that it's our fault. I'm like, why would we intentionally do that? It makes no sense for us to double our work and double our risk just to be mean. It doesn't make sense, because first of all, that's psychotic. And I can't fathom anybody ever doing that. But the real one is, appraisers are stingy. Why would we spend extra time for free to hurt anything? That's ridiculous. And if the value's
so
not
people,
there,
I don't think agents realize. I don't think they realize that you have to jump through hoops practically to show something's not supported. To show that
my God,
it's more work.
Here's a good example. If a purchase price is $600,000, if I bring it in at $700,000, it takes me a little while to explain the variance. If I brought it in at $550,000 or $575,000, it takes me 3 times as long as it would to explain why it's over as it is to explain why it's under. And every QC person will submit other comps. Hell, they'll submit comps, and then when you agents get the appraisal and it's low, you're also going to submit comps and argue that appraisal. This quadruples the amount of time that we would spend on one report. So it's not us. You have to understand that the time, you have to think about it, the time that we spend to kill a deal is nauseating. It's like, when I see one's coming in lower, like this one I'm literally typing up behind me right now, I thought I was going to cut it. And I'm like, please, 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 I just need one. Give me one sale that works, because then I can save myself 6 hours of frustration, 3 review requests, and comp suggestions later. So while it's okay to cut a deal, it has to be done sometimes. It is most definitely not our first, second, or third choice. We barely want to do it because of the risk and the amount of time it spends that we have to spend to do it. And appraisers are finicky, angry little people. And then last thing they're doing is giving away free time. So don't jump into it thinking, oh, they love to do this. That is our least favorite thing to do, simply just to make it easy, simply because of time and money. We're not going to give it away for free, and that's what happens. So if it is a cut and it is lower, you may have issues with it, and you may want to comp suggestions, blah, blah, blah. Don't go into it thinking that we had fun doing it or we did it from malice or whatever. We really had to make that decision, and then we had to quadruple our work to sell it. So keep that in mind when you're out there and you're angry the next time an appraisal comes in below contract.
Yeah.